World Bank in February 2011 estimated that diaspora groups from developing countries are likely to hold upwards of $400 billion in savings. The World Bank also believes that if a small portion of these $400 billion in diaspora savings were harnessed for development by diaspora members in their home countries, developing countries could raise up to $20 billion a year for development financing. On that premise, the diaspora this week will be discussing the $300 million diaspora bond approved by the House of Representatives. It promises to be engaging. We also have our Diasporan of the Week, news and your mails. Welcome to the Diaspora. I am Gabriel Odu. Let's begin our conversation with the Chairman House Committee on Diaspora, Rita Orji, on the $300 million diaspora bond approved by the House of Representatives.
The question you asked about diaspora bond is a popular question. In fact, I want to tell you, somebody called me from my constituency and said, we heard that 300 billion was assigned to your committee. Madam, you are going to get some money for us from there. And I asked why. He said, you are chairperson, Committee on Diaspora now. I laughed. Some people don't really know what diaspora bond means. So for me to answer the question, I will give a little definition of what diaspora bond means. And that will give us an insight on what it is, what is the gain, what does the diaspora stand to gain, and what too did the government stand to gain, and what are the things that should be put in place for it to work, what are relevant agencies that will handle it. So people don't really know about that. So on the issue of the diaspora bond, it's just a government debt. This debt everywhere in the world, the government buys the debt through its nationals abroad. So Nigerian diaspora bond is the money deposited as a bond by Nigerians staying abroad as a pool. This pool is a sinking pool where all diasporans, anywhere you belong to, depends on your national, you can invest into worthwhile projects. I say worthwhile projects in your constituency, which is your country. This is an assumption that because you come from that place, your link, your origin, you will want to invest in some projects in your nation. That is the assumption of diaspora bond. When you talk about the advantages, number one, there are 4 major advantages of diaspora bond. Number one is, this is an opportunity for diasporas to tap into the capital market, not only attracting investment into the country or being involved in the international market, but it assists them to tap into the capital market of the nation where they originate from. Then the second one, it can equally be attractive, very, very attractive in financing certain government projects where the government is finding it difficult to attract investors or get foreign aids. In a situation like our own, where a couple of nations want to come because due to infrastructural decay, due to insecurity, due to poverty, some people are afraid. They were having different opinions, different notions of coming into Nigeria to invest. Right. So diaspora bond has remained the route, the assistance, the solution for us to recover from this quagmire we are in in form of forest. Remember that this is not coming in as naira, it's coming like forest. It is equally useful in financing any emerging economy or developing, which our own is number one example.
I agree with you.
So for the diasporans, these issues we mentioned, you remember we said 4 major, but the diasporas themselves, when you look at the general nomenclature, investment opportunities in Africa happens to be the most lucrative. Yeah. If you are investing in Europe or America or UK, you are looking at 3% return. Right. But Nigeria, you know, our own remittance is 6.6. So it is lucrative for diasporans to buy into the bond and have a return on their investment secured. So it is a good thing for the government, because that is our last hope. When you remember, after Obama took over, there was a big decadence. There is poverty. He didn't keep complaining. Right. He leveraged on his diasporans. You know, they are the countries, their diasporas vote anywhere they are in the world. Right. I was in Washington. I met with the Congress guy in charge of diaspora matters. We chatted, we discussed. I saw their rules. I saw their principles. They respect their diasporans very well, wherever they are. That is a spirit Nigeria has not imbibed.
If diasporans, diaspora members, could articulate their resources together,
of course,
then and plow into their homeland countries, they will really show up financing projects and development in their own countries. Yeah.
I said these people are ready by the interactions I had had with them.
Right.
But Nigeria must not make diasporans fair weather friends.
Right.
They shouldn't be recognized because they are coming to do voluntary works. They shouldn't be recognized because they are bringing money. They should be recognized because they have equal rights with us.
Next on our lineup is a professor of business and management, Jarvis Christian College, Hawkins, Texas, Professor Michael Omeadi. He says diaspora bond, if well applied, is a good strategy to rejig the economy. Good to meet you once again.
Thank you so much.
Long absence. Where have you been?
I've been in the United States of America, getting things done, in the school, having graduating people. And now we're a little bit free again.
Can you tell us more about diaspora bond benefits for diasporans and also for the government?
This is very, very good. I must first of all congratulate the president for trying at least to increase the diaspora bond from $100 million bond to $300 million. That's 300%. Right. So that thinking should be commended. I'm also going to be able to start to thanking also the House of Representatives for seeing with the president and giving approval for such increase. Though this is the start, because we need to increase it much further in order to be able to get in touch with our people. You see, diaspora bond is nothing but when Nigeria goes to his own people in diaspora and say, in layman language, and say, please, I want you to invest in bond because we want to do a particular project. And his people answers to the call. The country is now tapping into the wealth of their own people in the countries where they reside. And that also is a certainly a very good source of income generation financing, because it replaces financing through multilateral agreements or through government borrowings, funding. So when you get your people to do the financing, they begin to think patriotically on how their country is and begin to engage also in helping in developing their country is a good thing. And that is a well thought aspect by the president. However, it is important to also state that diaspora bond may not be like a local emitted bond, where the locals, that is, I mean, Nigerians who live in Nigeria, will see it from different perspective. The diaspora Nigerians, because of the cultural changes, the little cultural changes, may want to see things in a different perspective. They may want to see what is the yield, the interest rate, what is the central bank benchmark on interest. They will look at that. What is the guarantee? What is stability? Is the country stable? They're going to look at corruption. That is why, again, the president, the key word to emitting diaspora bond is transparency, which means the president is on that role now, you see? So they will want to begin to see from that large conceptual ideas of what can we do for the country, but is the country going to be real or realistic to us? For example, diaspora bond is not a new thing in economics. It's been there since 1930s, first emitted by Japan and China, and followed by Israel in the 1950s. Israel is the most successful of all diaspora emitted bonds on financing their projects and other infrastructural developments.
I hear even India too. And
India, I will come to India. Right. India came up later. Okay. But Israel is most, why I say Israel is most fundamentally successful, right, is within a period of 30 years, they were all able to have a closing of up to $25 billion, which means you are talking about $830 or $840 million every year, if you calculate over 30 years. Right. So that is the impact they have made. Now, it is always very important to look at Israel. Why I mentioned Israel. Why were they successful? Because they have a unified front. Diaspora bond cannot exist if you don't know your people. You need to know your people. You need to put in place policies that your people will look at and will make you know your people. For example, in the United States of America where I live, only few of us who are really very interested in the country go to the embassy. But in other countries, the embassy sought for their people. They record their people. They want to know where their people are. They want their people to register with them. They even devise processes where they have honorary consul. Like me living in North Carolina or in Texas, I could be a honorary consul for the consul and begin to gather the people there to make them feel the embassy. Whatever they want, you get the consul to come right away. And the consul comes. You must do that in order to know your people. If you don't do that, people will be skeptical. Now, also, people in our country, Nigeria, citizens in Nigeria, must also begin, if they critique the economy, they must be very careful. Because whatever they say is whatever the people in diaspora look at and say, oh, this is not working, so we're not going to be able to invest. They got to market their thing in order to be able to get those diaspora bond funding that they need. Because this is a very important way to have funding for a country that is in trouble.
Don't you think the leadership now should be trusted for the diasporans to key in?
No, the president is completely trusted, but we don't want distractions. There are some guys distracting the trust. See, $300 million is small money. It's not a big deal. I say we can get up to $20 billion from diaspora Nigerians, even only in the United States of America. Over 10, 15 years. We can get that. They're ready. But you got to put the projects that are appealing to them. If the projects are not appealing to them, you got to get projects that are appealing to them, then they are able to come in. And apart from that also.
So what project are you, as a Nigerian who lives in North Carolina?
Yes.
Right. What project do you think the bond should finance?
Power! You see, I saw some programs in Nigeria talking about, let me digress a little bit, please, if you give me some time.
Right.
I saw some programs in Nigeria talking about after oil, what next? My friend, that is not. What is after oil? We have not even touched the oil sector. So the oil is still right there. The only thing we had in the oil sector is that the oil prices went down. But what about the petrochemical industry derivable from the oil sector? Where is it? We don't have it. Even if you fly and go to the agricultural sector, where now you diversify, which is a good thing, give food to the people. What about storage? What about agro-allied industries? Only agriculture, sales of agricultural produce to the world may not guarantee the economy, because it can fall, the prices can fall just like the oil prices did. You see the problem?
Right.
The same thing happens with mining. If you begin to sell only raw material from mining, what you are going to begin to see is those raw materials, prices may come down. You will still face the same problem that you faced in the oil sector.
So where's the way out?
Power. If you come to oil, now oil prices down, you move to petrochemical industry. That is proper diversification. When you come to agriculture, you produce food, you move to agro-allied industry, proper diversification. And storage. When you come to mining, you sell the products, then you move also to mining production. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
and you cannot do that without power. No country will ever develop without power, my friend. You see, we should not lie to ourselves. Even if it's only power that we have now, we have made it. Our economy will hold together. It is good to diversify to agriculture and mining, but my friend, we must have light. We are in darkness, and if we're in darkness and without light, you're not gonna go anywhere. So if you want to go somewhere, you need to have light. Light. If you don't have light, it is not going to happen.
Light and light.
Light and light.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you're just joining us, this is the Diaspora on the NTA. Stay right there.
Are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
The Special Advisor to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Matters, Abike Dabre Erewa, believes that $300 million diaspora bond is strategic to financing development projects.
You recall that during the last administration, they started with the $100 million diaspora bond, which was not seen through. But with this administration, a letter was written to Parliament for a $300 million diaspora bond, which the Parliament has now approved. Now, diaspora bond is a form of government debt to its citizens in the diaspora. Now, we know about remittances, $21 billion remitted by Nigerians last year. In fact, this year has been $1 million higher. Those are personal, to help your family, to help people you love back home. But bonds are mutually beneficial. You invest in your country, there are returns. And there's some kind of emotional ties attached to it. Imagine somebody who has left Nigeria 2-3 generations ago, who now invests in a diaspora bond. No matter how weakened your relationship, no matter how far it's been, it's like you are part of your country, you're contributing to your country. India has been investing, Israel have been investing in diaspora bond. Israel since the 1950s, India since the 1980s. In fact, Israel has done about $35 billion diaspora bond, and India over $11 billion. So this is a good move for Nigeria and a good first move. However, there are processes to it.
All right.
Now the National Assembly has approved. They have to communicate with the DMO, Debt Management Office, a formal communication, and then the process begins. Now the process, for it to succeed, it has succeeded in some places, it has failed in others. Like in Kenya and Ethiopia, it failed. some things must be done. One, there has to be accurate, deep information awareness for Nigerians in the diaspora to know. So there has to be an engagement, a very, very deep, constructive engagement with Nigerians in the diaspora. First, to know about this bond. And then two, it means Nigeria has to have a more positive and deeper relationship with this diaspora. Like I said, it's a win-win situation. As the diaspora, you're investing in your country. And in some cases, they also can determine where you want to invest. Okay, these are the projects. Okay, maybe power, maybe agriculture, depending. So you know that you are a part of that development. You are a part of that process. And then also, away from international foreign direct investments, getting loans and all that, this is another source of funding. And even sometimes more lenient and a bit more convenient ones. In fact, it's even more, let me put the quote, patriotic form of investment. So there's like a bond. So it's like a bond between you and your home country. And at the same time, the country will also be having a closer relationship with these diasporans. And Nigeria in particular, it's amazing, what Nigerians in the diaspora are doing and what they even earn and own. And they are willing to be part of this. So if this does happen, and I'm sure it will happen with the approval given by the parliament, it's going to be a major, major way forward. But like I said, the processes must be thorough. The processes must be transparent. The processes must be sincere. We can't say we're doing diaspora bond and be selling to other people. So it's important that the DMO office that will drive this must engage Nigerians in the diaspora all over the world. And
what you're saying is, in essence, that there must be trust.
Oh, there must be trust. There must be trust. There must be transparency. There must be openness. And they should be able to own and feel that they truly are, putting something back in their country.
Now to our diasporan of the week.
What's your name? Pastor Peter Zamora is my name.
Nigerian?
I'm a Nigerian in diaspora. I'm a nurse by profession. I specialize in psychiatric nursing. I set up an international organization known as Nurses Across the Borders.
Nurses across the borders?
Just like Doctors Without Borders.
Oh.
Yeah, so what we do is also to provide support for people during disasters, and also help in building the capacity of Nigerian nurses. And as a result, I'm a permanent UN representative to Nurses Across the Borders.
Right.
And then there is also what called the Nigerian Nurses Charitable Association in the UK. So it is the association that coordinates the activities of nurses and midwives and other healthcare workers, Nigerian, in the United Kingdom. We come home every year. We organize medical missions.
Good.
In fact, our effort was recognized in 2008 during the Diaspora Day Conference in Tinapa, where for the 5 days, the nurses were given a day within the Diaspora Day celebration. Well, it was another day we established a formal relationship with the Nigerian nurses in the UK and Nigerian nurses in Nigeria. We entered into an agreement, an MOU, whereby we agreed that yes, we will be coming home, not only to provide capacity building for Nigerian nurses, we also try to provide medical services, with the prevailing trend in medical practice in terms of nursing management.
Right.
Based on evidence.
So how well have you been doing that?
We've been doing that on a yearly basis. In fact, last year, it will interest you to know that NSCA UK, in collaboration, not last year, no, a year before, which was 2014.
Yeah.
NSCA UK, collaboration with Nurses Across the Borders, we took a medical mission to Edo State, whereby we provided drugs and they provided medical services to 3 communities were in Edo State for 5 days.
Our email remains diasporanta@yahoo.com or text only to +234 8033114000. That's it for this week. Bye.